Alright, so it's officially been 3 days since Chaos Reigns came out for Mortal Kombat 1, so I feel that that is more than enough time to formulate a proper opinion on the expansion, right? And I have to say personally, without a shadow of a doubt, this story has thoroughly disappointed me, and I'm just talking about the story, like the actual entire expansion I think is good for the game, right? We got new characters, new unlockables, we got Towers of Time, online practice, like all of that stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm specifically talking about the story. It just didn't land with me. Now I pretty much just want to do like a mini review and give my thoughts on the story. And the way I want to start this off is I want to go through what I consider the pros and the cons of this story. So if you haven't played it, this will pretty much give you a good idea of what you should expect. Obviously, there's going to be spoilers, so if you haven't played it or seen it, go do that first. Now, the first positive for the campaign, in my opinion, is them fleshing out the background characters a little bit more. Now, I know Empress Tanya and Emperor Rain aren't our main timeline versions of those characters, but getting to see them do more in the story was still cool. Not only them, I mean, Chameleon got some flesh. She pretty much had an entire duo chapter with Sector, which was nice to see, and I really hope they do that for more characters in the future. The next positive is one that people have actually complained about with the main story, and it's that the stages and the setting where this mostly takes place are amazing, and it's very much more like an MK game than the base story and the base stages, right? Because Titan Havoc's whole domain is just all twisted and fucked up, so the environment is flawless, and I don't think anyone would disagree with that. Even in the base game, the environments in this game are one of the biggest pluses. I also think that Bihan serves as a great antagonist up until he becomes Noob. I think when he's still Sub-Zero, he is actually a really great antagonist. And the last thing I want to touch on for the pros, I kind of already mentioned this, but that Rain and Tanya chapter is probably the peak of this campaign. It's actually really good. It's the only part of the story that has any emotional weight. So that's pretty much all I gotta say for the pros of this story, in my opinion. Remember, this is very opinionated. That's just how I feel. Now on to the cons. Now, you know it's crazy when the best thing someone can say about your campaign is that it had a good side storyline, and that's pretty much my first con. This whole expansion was advertised with like Noob Saibot, Cyrax, and Sector. I don't think I cared about anything that Cyrax and Sector did this entire campaign. I was way more focused on what was going on between Bihan and Kuai Liang and what Titan Havoc was doing. I don't really think Cyrax and Sector made that much of a difference. I was pretty much waiting the whole time for them to like fight each other or something, right? Like they were building up all this tension, and Sector is basically like, yeah, when this is all over, we're gonna settle our differences, but we never see that happen. There's no payoff for the shit that happens at the beginning of the game between like the Lin Kuei characters. There's literally no payoff at all. So Cyrax and Sector could have not been a part of this expansion, and it would not have made a difference. Moving on from that, this is a complaint that I really hope many other people had, or at least thought about while playing this. We get a lot of talking about things that are going on in the world, right? Such as Shao's escape and rebellion, Emperor Reiko and Empress Li Mei being tyrants, and yet we don't see any of that. Like, I'm not expecting a full campaign out of an expansion, of course, but like while Tanya and Rain are talking about it, they could have thrown up an invasion style intro to show us the tyranny of Li Mei and Reiko, right? And they could have done the same for Shao while Melina was speaking about it. Those storylines actually sound hella interesting, right? Which gives me hope for the future. If we get a third expansion and it focuses on the war and outworld, right, where Shao Kahn has taken the throne and become more powerful, more like Shao Kahn, that would be an expansion worth buying. Just don't make him a Titan, please. If you've played enough games, you know that being given the power to choose how the story unfolds in any way can take a mediocre game to superstar status. This isn't unique to any genre, by the way. In previous NetherRealm titles, we had the ability to do just that. Whether you were picking between Liu Kang and Shang Tsung to decide who got Kronika's crown, or between Batman and Superman to decide who got their way with how they dealt with Brainiac's invasion. Now, the MK version of this mechanic came with the expansion of MK MK11 with Aftermath. So forgive me for expecting that with the expansion of MK1. It's not helped by the fact that there are at least 2 times, in my opinion, where this would have been a great inclusion. The first time is when you're in Havoc Citadel, right, and Kuai Liang is facing off with Bi-Han as Noob Saibot for the first time. When they're doing this little standoff walk, like where they walk around in a circle, this would have been the perfect time to let us pick who we wanted to play as, since the outcome of this fight didn't matter anyway. Noob becomes a pseudo protagonist later anyway, so who wins this brawl didn't matter. It's not like he killed Kuai Liang. It would have been a nice little element to add to the experience, but instead Scorpion just gets slumped and we fight Noob as Tanya. The other time where this would have been great is a lot more impactful to the story, my biggest gripe with the campaign, and one I'm gonna dive into later: the final battle. Had I been able to choose between Liu Kang and Bi-Han, this ending would be a lot less shitty, and again, would have simply added to the experience. Hell, even before that, when Bi-Han and Kuai Liang are fighting their Chaos counterparts, being able to pick there would have been nice, and a bit of a callback to when they let you pick between Sub-Zero and Scorpion in the Fire and Ice section of MK11. Maybe I'm asking for too much, I don't know. It's the MK fan in me that just wants more kick out of these releases, and I just can't fake that. Now, on to my biggest gripe with the story. This actually annoyed me when I played it. The ending of this campaign is turbo ass. All this did was fully confirm for me that NRS cannot write godly characters to save their lives because they fumbled it time and time again. Don't believe that? Here's some examples. Kung Jin somehow being an inexperienced newcomer beating Kotal Khan at the height of his power, the same Kotal that beat Melina, Rain, Kano, and Aaron Black back-to-back gauntlet style. Cassie, another newcomer, beating Super Saiyan God Shinnok and Elder God because of her plot device powers, right? Cetrion, another god, losing to Jax and Jackie. Crown or not, that is literally unacceptable, bro. Then Kronika gets outdone by Shang Tsung, a human, outsmarted and outmaneuvered a Titan, a being above the Elder Gods. And now we get Noob Saibot single-handedly defeating Titan Havoc when Lord Liu Kang is standing right there, ready for the assist. And if you think somehow Liu Kang helped him, like behind the cutscenes or something, no, he didn't. An intro confirms Noob did it solo. I don't care if Noob somehow absorbed some OP-ass chaos power from his transformation, this ending is just MKX all over again, and goes to show that they have not learned how to write these godly characters in the game. This is where the choice would have come in and saved it somewhat. If I was able to choose there, I'm 100% choosing Liu Kang because that makes sense. Titan versus Titan makes more sense than Titan versus his own creation that he somehow loses to. This also shows vividly how power scaling in Mortal Kombat is not existent. Somehow Noob loses to Empress Tanya, who doesn't seem any different from normal Tanya. Then he wakes up and beats up a Titan? Like, bruh. Unless I missed it as well, after he's defeated, we just don't see the guy anymore. Not in a prison, not in the void, not in a casket. Nope, it just shows us what Liu Kang's plan for Bi-Han is. Like, even a 5-second clip of Liu banishing his guy to the void would have been nice here. I gotta say, I think Titan Havoc has actually had the worst showing of all MK villains in the NRS era. We don't have to talk about Shao Kahn and MK9, great villain, right? But when you get to MKX, I know Shinnok gets a lot of shit, right? Because he lost to Cassie and Johnny Cage. But Shinnok actually felt like a threat, right? Like, he actually felt like a dangerous villain. Like, he had Kotal Khan turning against Earthrealm because he was scared of him. So he felt like a threat. Even in MK11, I think Kronika is a lot worse than Shinnok, but Kronika feels like she's a threat that they have to deal with. She has all this power, apparently, right? She has all of this power. She can manipulate time. She is clearly a danger. But when you look at Titan Havoc, I mean, what was his threat? He came to their timeline. He kidnapped Geras. He turned Sub-Zero and Noob. Right, then he basically let our protagonist compete in his Coliseum, and then he got beat up by Noob Saibot, and he had the Kamidogu, and he still lost to Immortal. I'm gonna need NRS to show us what these damn Titans can actually do, because the way it's looking, a damn Destiny Titan eating crayons could probably beat a Mortal Kombat Titan. What have they actually accomplished? Think about it. I understand that Titan Havoc is supposed to be all about chaos, right? So obviously if you're in his domain, he's gonna toy with you, he's gonna cause anarchy. But he could have literally just crushed and destroyed our protagonist in the Coliseum and been done with it. And when he realized that they were able to escape, with the dragon, with Orin, why didn't he directly attack them instead of like tickling the dragon? I don't understand. It's just incompetent. He could have literally just destroyed all of them right then and there if these Titans are so OP. Liu Kang kind of does this a little bit too. He should have been able to just boom Havoc and just be done with it, right? He beat Titan Shang Tsung. He beat Kronika. What's stopping him from just beating Havoc in his timeline? I don't understand. I know he's like, oh, I can't leave my timeline because it'll be in danger. Bro, Shang Tsung and Titan Havoc both left their timelines, and isn't Liu Kang the same guy who forcibly ripped Titan Raiden, Kung Lao, and Katana from their timelines? So he's on some shit like, nah, I can't leave mine, it's gotta stay safe, but I'm gonna take you away from yours though. At least with that though, there's the argument that all timelines were in danger, so he really needed their help, right? It was an emergency because Shang Tsung was a threat to all timelines. I get that, but there's just too many inconsistencies in the logic in the story of Mortal Kombat right now, and I'm just not fucking with it. I'm not gonna lie, I thought Chaos Reigns would be the thing that would push MK1 in the right direction. And gameplay wise, maybe it has, right? Like the balance patch was received well. A lot of the things added to the game were good. But as an MK fan, I really care about the story. And this story is just not it, bro. We just gotta be real. It's just not. This turned into more of a rant than a review. And I'm sorry about that. But man, when I say I'm an MK fan first, I need y'all to understand I'm 26 years young, right? I've been playing Mortal Kombat since I was like 3 or 4. I remember I had the original Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo, and I had Trilogy on my Nintendo 64. I used to like alternate between playing Mortal Kombat and Sonic. That's the type of childhood I had around that time. So I've been playing Mortal Kombat for over 20 years. I love Mortal Kombat. So when something like this happens, man, it really matters to me. That's really all I gotta say. As usual, I'm gonna put my faith in NRS to restore my love of Mortal Kombat yet again, and hopefully they achieve it this time. They missed the mark with this story. The overall update, however, is good, so if you don't care too much about the campaign, this update would actually be pretty good for you. 3 new characters, like I said, online practice, Towers of Time, more Invasions content if that's the type of thing you care about. There's a lot to do in the game right now. On unlockables, the unlockables you get from the campaign are actually really good. I don't remember if I said that in the video earlier. I might have did. I don't feel like rewinding. But that's pretty much it for my little review slash rant of Chaos Reigns. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you disagree or agree with me, let me know down below. And for now, that's it for me, man. Peace out.